Hey there, Spooky Squad. Welcome back to Fear Zone, the only place on the internet brave enough to dive headfirst into the abyss of unexplained phenomena. Here we don't just talk about the unknown, we live it, breathe it, and sometimes we even get a little too close for comfort. I'm your host, and by host I mean terrified guide, and we're serving up a piping hot dish of fear today. So grab your blankets, turn off the lights, and get ready to be spooked. That's right, we're talking urban legends. Those spine-chilling stories that make you question every creak in the floorboards and every shadow in the corner of your eye. You know, those creepy tales whispered around campfires and passed down through generations like a cursed family heirloom. The kind that make you shiver even when you're wrapped up warm. We've scoured the globe, braved the darkest corners of the internet, and maybe even summoned a demon or two to bring you the top 10 creepiest urban legends from around the world. From haunted houses to ghostly apparitions, we've got it all. So, buckle up, buttercups, because we're about to embark on a chilling journey into the unknown. This isn't just a casual stroll, it's a deep dive into the heart of darkness. And trust me, you're going to want to keep the lights on for this one. The stories we're about to share are not for the faint of heart. Just saying, for your own sake. And maybe mine, because honestly some of this stuff freaks me out, man. Even I get chills just thinking about it. If you're brave enough to stick around, hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you dare. Your support helps us keep bringing you these terrifying tales. And make sure you ring that bell so you don't miss out on any future encounters with the paranormal. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Now let's get this nightmare started. Prepare yourself for a journey into the most terrifying corners of human imagination. And finally, at number 1, we have the ultimate queen of spooky herself, the White Lady. This spectral figure has been the subject of countless tales and sightings, making her one of the most enduring ghost stories of all time. This isn't just some local legend. This story has haunted cultures around the world for centuries, popping up everywhere from lonely roadsides to windswept graveyards. The White Lady is a universal symbol of sorrow and mystery. Imagine this. You're driving down a deserted road late at night, fog swirling around your car like a scene straight out of a horror movie. The air is thick with tension, and every shadow seems to move. Suddenly, you see her. A woman in a flowing white dress, her face either hidden in shadow or contorted in an expression of pure anguish. Her presence sends a chill down your spine. Some say she's a scorned lover, driven to suicide by a broken heart and searching for her lost love. Her cries echo through the night, a haunting reminder of her eternal sorrow. Others say she's a vengeful spirit, out to punish those who wronged her in life. Her wrath is as chilling as her sorrow, making her a figure of both pity and fear. Whatever her origin story, one thing's for sure, encountering the White Lady is a one-way ticket to a serious case of the chills. Her legend continues to grow, fueled by each new sighting. And the worst part? There are countless reports of people actually seeing her, from taxi drivers in New York City to hikers in the Scottish Highlands. These sightings add a layer of terrifying credibility to her legend. So next time you're out alone at night, keep your eyes peeled and maybe, just maybe, you'll catch a glimpse of this ghostly siren. But be warned, her appearance is not for the faint of heart. Alright, buckle up, because this next one is a real heart-pounder, especially if you're the type who finds themselves driving home alone after midnight. We're talking about the killer in the back seat, an urban legend that's been freaking out drivers for decades. Picture this. You're cruising down a dark road. The only sound, the hum of your engine and the faint static of the radio. You come to a stoplight, and as you wait for it to turn green, you notice a car pull up behind you. Nothing unusual about that, right? But then you glance in your rearview mirror and see him. A shadowy figure in the back seat of the car behind you, staring straight at you, with eyes that seem to pierce the darkness. Your heart skips a beat. Who is this guy? And what's he doing lurking back there? The light turns green, and the car behind you follows at a safe distance. But you can't shake that feeling of unease. You glance back again, and this time the figure seems even closer. As if he's leaning forward, his gaze fixed on you like a predator stalking its prey. All right, buckle up, fear friends, because we're heading to Point Pleasant, West Virginia. It's 1966 and something strange is happening in this sleepy town. I'm talking weirder than usual, even for West Virginia. People start spotting this, let's call it a thing, hanging around an abandoned World War II munitions plant. This wasn't your average run-of-the-mill cryptid, though. This thing was huge, like think Ryan dressed as a bat for Halloween, but with way more commitment to the bit, and red eyes, can't forget those. Now, I've seen enough blurry photos in my day to know that a blurry photo doesn't mean anything. But the descriptions from people who claim to have seen this Mothman, they're all pretty consistent. This thing was big, it was creepy, and it had a knack for showing up right before disaster struck. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe this Mothman was some kind of harbinger of doom, like a really messed up weatherman. I mean, who knows with these things? It's not like we can just call up the Mothman and ask for an interview. Or can we? Okay, let's be honest, clowns are inherently creepy. I don't care if you're talking about Ronald McDonald or Pennywise, those painted-on smiles and oversized shoes, just scream, I'm hiding something. And in the 1980s, that fear became a reality with the emergence of the phantom clowns. It started with strange reports. People, mostly kids, claiming to have seen creepy clowns lurking in the shadows, staring at them from the woods. The clowns never really did anything, they just were. Which, when you think about it, is probably the creepiest thing they could do. Imagine walking home from school, minding your own business, and there, in the flickering light of a street lamp, is a clown, just standing there, watching you, not saying a word. Yeah, that's the stuff of nightmares right there. And the worst part, nobody knew who these clowns were or what they wanted. Were they just pranksters with a twisted sense of humour, or was something more sinister going on? All right, folks, we're diving headfirst into the deep end of the internet for this one. The Slender Man, this creepypasta born in the darkest corners of the internet, is enough to give anyone nightmares. Picture this, a tall, thin figure in a black suit. No face, just blank white skin. And those arms, they stretch and contort, growing long, tendril-like appendages that reach out from the darkness. This isn't your friendly neighborhood monster, though. This thing is all about psychological torment. It stalks its victims, often children, appearing in the background of photos, lurking at the edge of the woods. The Slender Man is like that creepy feeling you get when you think you're being watched, but amplified 1,000 times over. It's the embodiment of fear itself, and it knows exactly how to push your buttons. All right, folks, buckle up for this one. La Llorona, which translates to the Weeping Woman, is a staple in Latin American folklore, and let me tell you, it's bleak even for us. This isn't your friendly neighborhood ghost story. This is about a woman driven to the absolute brink, so consumed by grief and guilt that she becomes a terrifying entity. See, the legend goes that La Llorona drowned her own kids in a river. Yeah, you heard that right. Now she's trapped, wandering the water's edge, forever searching for her lost children, her cries echoing in the night. Some say she's harmless, just a sad figure, but others? They say she'll snatch any child who wanders too close to the water, mistaking them for her own. So if you hear sobbing by the river, maybe keep walking. Section 2, A Mother's Anguish. Okay, so you're home alone. It's night. Maybe there's a storm brewing outside, you know, for ambience. Suddenly you hear a knock at the door. You peek through the peephole, and standing there are two kids, maybe 10, 11 years old. They look harmless enough, maybe a little lost, but there's something off about them. They ask to come inside. Maybe their phone's dead, need to use the bathroom, classic lost kid stuff. But here's the thing. Their eyes are wrong, completely black. No whites, no pupils, just void. And a chill runs down your spine. You know that feeling like you're in actual danger? That's the black-eyed children. All right, dog lovers, I'm about to test your loyalty with this one. The choking Doberman, a classic urban legend that plays on our trust in our furry companions. Picture this. A woman's beloved Doberman starts choking. Frantic, she rushes him to the vet, fearing the worst. Now, vets have seen it all, right? But even they're shocked by what they find lodged in the dog's throat. A human finger. Yeah, you heard me right. A whole detached finger. And this is where the story takes a wild turn. This wasn't just a freak accident. Section 2, a canine crime stopper. All right, strap in, because we're diving headfirst into the abyss of everyone's favourite spooky sleepover game, Bloody Mary. Yeah, that's right, the one where you stand in a dark bathroom, lights out, staring into the abyss of a mirror, whispering a name that sends shivers down your spine. I mean, come on, who hasn't tried this at least once, right? You get that little thrill, that tiny voice in the back of your head wondering, what if it's actually real? And let me tell you, the sheer volume of stories, the whispered accounts of shadowy figures appearing in the reflection, it's enough to make even a skeptic like me raise an eyebrow. Some people claim they see faces distorted and grotesque, staring back at them. Others say they feel a cold breath on their necks, a ghostly touch that sends chills down their spines. And then there are the truly unfortunate souls who walk away with scratches, bruises, or even worse. Coincidence? Maybe. But that's the beauty of a good urban legend, isn't it? It plants that seed of doubt, that little voice that whispers, what if? All right, let's talk about hitchhikers. Not the friendly kind you pick up on a whim, but the ghostly kind that vanish into thin air, leaving behind a chill that seeps into your bones. These are the hitchhikers of legend, the ones that make your hair stand on end and your heart race. Yeah, we're talking about the vanishing hitchhiker. This isn't just a tale to scare kids. It's a phenomenon reported by drivers all over the world. This legend has been around for ages, told and retold in countless variations across the globe. From the United States to Japan, the story remains eerily similar. It's a story as old as time, or at least as old as cars. As long as there have been roads and vehicles, there have been tales of these spectral passengers. A lone driver cruising down a desolate highway spots a solitary figure by the side of the road, thumb outstretched. The scene is almost cinematic, like something out of a noir film. Now, any sane person in this day and age knows better than to pick up hitchhikers. It's practically ingrained in us from a young age. It's practically horror movie 101. We've all seen the films where picking up a stranger leads to dire consequences. But in these stories, something compels the driver to stop. It's as if an invisible force is guiding their hand to the wheel, making them pull over. Maybe it's pity, maybe it's loneliness, or maybe it's the eerie sense that something's not quite right. Whatever the reason, the driver feels compelled to offer a ride. Whatever the reason, the hitchhiker gets in, and that's when things get really weird. The atmosphere in the car changes, becoming thick with tension. So the hitchhiker climbs in, and they usually have a destination in mind. They might give an address or just a vague direction, but there's always a sense of urgency. Sometimes it's a specific address. Sometimes it's just a general direction. The driver, feeling uneasy, follows the instructions, but there's always something off about them. Maybe it's the way they speak or the way they avoid eye contact. Maybe they're oddly quiet. Maybe their clothes are soaked despite the lack of rain. Or maybe they just give off this unsettling vibe that screams, "Get out of the car." The driver can't shake the feeling that something is terribly wrong. And there you have it, folks. The top 10 creepiest urban legends from around the world, guaranteed to keep you up at night, double-checking your locks, and maybe even sleeping with the lights on. Which one had you sleeping with one eye open? Did I miss any spine-chilling tales that keep you up at night? Let me know in the comments below, because I'm always down for a good scare. And hey, if you enjoyed this terrifying trip down urban legend lane, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss another dose of fear-inducing content. Until next time, Fear Zone fans, stay spooky.